could be with you, I'd love you long. I want you to know that I'd never go until I told you, honey, why I love you so. If I could be with you 1 hour tonight, if I could be with you, the things I might. I'm telling you true, I'd be anything but blue. Yeah, if I could be with you.
Welcome to the next episode of Who That. We've had hip hop artists, R&B artists, we had Judah who does everything, but finally we have a jazz artist, the lovely Anuschka Wright. Is what I said that right? Anuschka. Anuschka Wright. And she also went to the great St. Augustine's College, but she didn't start music then. So you're kind of like a late bloomer.
Well,
I mean, like you know, back in SAC, like bass was rapping and stuff, and I never heard you sing, but. Or were you in the choir prior to?
I was in choirs. I was in the National Children's Choir, and I did an ensemble group called TIMMAY, Christian Music Association. But I was never a soloist in that aspect. So
this was always a part of something.
Always a part of something, yeah. But I like that. I like doing backgrounds. I like making a whole unit sound good, you know. So
being that them missing piece to the puzzle.
Exactly, and I always felt like my voice. Was one that blends really well with other people.
So what made you take the leap to yes?
Because of jazz, really. Because you know there's not a lot of, they do have jazz choirs and jazz ensembles, but in terms of the vocal aspect, you know, to do jazz, it's really a solo piece. You know, jazz, your vocal is your instrument. So in order for me to do that, I had to step outside of myself and take that leadership role within the ensemble of a jazz group. So that's kind of why.
How did you step into the jazz story?
Man, crazy story. I was taking a break through university. It came throughout a time when, you know, the recession was happening, so I had to take a break from school, and I was writing in high school, just underground stuff, you know, and started hanging out at open mic nights. One of them was Express Yourself. So started with that, and then got introduced to Adrian D'Aguilar, who was my jazz mentor here, and just started hanging around his band, going to see them wherever they were live, and just, he gave me a few songs to learn. Hang out, learn songs, sang with him, and I got my first job that way. So it's really just a series of choice events, you know. I don't really believe in coincidences.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. The fact that I wasn't able to go off to school when I was, and the fact me meeting Adrian, and you know, just all of the opportunities that I've had, I've taken them, and so here I am.
How long ago was this?
Wow.
Yeah, you graduated from high school 2007,
yeah,
so recession was 2000 2009, so...
Jeez.
What, 5 years?
I'd say 5 years, I guess, me meeting Adrian, but I haven't been doing this professionally. I'd say 4 years I actually started, and yeah, so 4 years.
Just take us through the journey of starting with jazz to now.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't have a start into jazz until right when I met Adrian. You know, he was my introduction. I always liked music. You know, did gospel. Growing up in the island, you got all your culture.
Yeah, of course, R&B,
you know,
culture.
You got those down.
We really can find someone who listens to jazz, let alone sing it.
Yeah. So I was really fortunate to meet up with Adrian. He actually went to school with my mom, so she knew him, and she was like, "Well, you have to. If you're doing this, you have."
This is the man to go to.
Exactly. So, you know, and Adrian, just a wealth of information. You know, he lived in the States for a really long time, traveled the jazz scene in LA and New York, and did some traveling with some really big names in jazz, and you know, he just was a wealth of information, and I just soaked it up, you know. So I started gigging with him full time. We were just like, I came into a period when the band was really popular. The band is called Jazz Etc.
Right.
And we were just working every night, you know. We were very, very popular.
This is in the Bahamas?
In the Bahamas, you know. So I had a really good start of just concentrated learning, learning on the job type thing, so having him behind me.
You really didn't get thrown into the fire, you were just on the sidelines?
No. I was thrown into the fire. It was not a gradual thing. Because honestly, when I first started gigging with him, he had just gotten this new gig in a hotel, the Sheraton at the time. And he needed help, and he called me like an hour before.
Oh, so you just like chilling, like,
honestly,
hey, can you come?
I had no idea. I was not expecting it, and at the time I only had 2 songs in my repertoire. So literally, I learned on the job. That was my introduction, and he taught me everything. How to speak to the crowd. I was very quiet, very reserved. He, told me, I have to engage the crowd, how to speak to the audience, and through working with other artists, I learned other things like how to improvise the song. We have all these great saxophone players,
right.
Ralph Munnings, Tino Richardson, we have Sheep or Shorts and all those guys. So, and some great singers like Angel and Naomi, and just being on the scene, I really, really, really took in a lot and grew from there.
So in these 4 years, how's it taken you anywhere further than the Bahamas?
Yeah. I mean, I through Adrian, he's an advocate for bringing in a greater experience to the Bahamas. So he always brings in guys from LA who he's met from New York, and so I always get a chance to play with other musicians outside of the Bahamas. I'm in Montreal now studying music, and I've done a few projects over there with my head of the vocal department, Jerry Brown, who is world travel vocalist in jazz. So she has a few projects that I've helped up, backed her up on a few of those. I've been on a few jazz sessions, also in Toronto. I did just went to visit a friend, went around, visited a few places. So, I've had a few experiences.
Was that just get on the hub anywhere in the States?
I did. Well, when I was with CMA, we did a tour around Atlanta.
Was this?
But that was gospel. That wasn't jazz.
Was this high school, primary school?
That was after high school.
All right.
Yeah. So.
After high school, before jazz.
Yeah, I've had a lot of concentrated experiences, but it's happened really quickly. I haven't really looked at all that I've done.
Two or 3 weeks ago, you had a show. What was it called?
Jazz and Bloom. Yes.
Was
it was great. It was really great. It's the 2nd annual event. It's now an annual event.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you were both were you?
Yeah. Last year was me, and this year again I was the featured artist, and I had a few other artists.
So they always say third time's a charm. So hopefully next year it's even better.
Yes, next year I'm hoping for it to really grow and evolve, and I hope people see my growth. So it was fun because last year I did it before going off to school, so
right.
I didn't really had any concentrated training in music or jazz or like vocals. So that was really just the accumulation of my gigging around Nassau, right? And then this year,
a year after school.
Year after school, so it was a good time for not only for me but for the audience to see like how I've grown and the benefit of me going off, and I feel like I gave that to them. So
imagine the whole another year in school.
Exactly. So I'm really excited, about the idea of having it yearly, because it's not only a chance for me to reconnect with the audience and for more people to get to know what I'm doing, but also it's a great way to document, my growth, and hopefully I always have that in the back of my mind now that there is a checkpoint I'm kind of going to.
Right. So you're going back up to school. So what can we look forward to from you in the future?
Oh man, I actually sat down and thought about that like yesterday or today. I've just been working. So there's always been kind of a next step laid out for me, and at this point, I need to really sit down and
map it out.
Yeah, I've really just been kind of working with the momentum of everything. I haven't stopped since I started, and now I'm in school, and I'm getting so many opportunities, and hearing so many great stuff with like Wendy and her recordings, and all the guys from SAC. I mean, wow, to see those to where they are now, it's crazy. So
I soon trying to call you for a feature before the year, so
yeah,
I'm hoping to get a feature.
So good. Okay, I'll be up for that. But yeah, so I believe I know my sound right now, but I haven't set up any recordings, and I have songs that I've written, but I haven't decided to work on them. Yeah, right. So yeah, it's gonna. I think this year is gonna be more of a prep. So maybe another year or 2, year and a half. I think I might actually start to put out some music.
Compile a project.
Yeah.
Because I love jazz, but I never could. Maybe you could help me just find jazz music I want to listen to, like projects or whatever.
Yeah. It's because like we were talking about earlier. Bahamians don't really know what jazz is. It's not here. It's not on the radio. You don't hear it.
You don't walk past the bar thing.
Exactly. It's not something you just hear on the streets every day. And jazz, the world of jazz is so big and so vast. There's jazz fusion. There's pop jazz. There's like the bebop jazz. There's the swing style jazz. There's like the old
blues.
Yeah, of course. Well, blues is the foundation, right? You got Dixieland, all these different things in jazz. So if you just look at jazz, it's like, well, where do I begin?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like I don't know where to start.
Exactly. So I just tell people to start listening. There are a lot of young people out there now. Robert Glasper,
I actually have the one project on my iTunes.
Yeah.
Robert Glasper, because I won the Grammy, and of course after like a real Bahamian.
Uh-huh.
As I saw it won the Grammy, I gotta download this.
Yeah, I mean you have a lot of nice cats now in traditional jazz. Actually, the young guy that played last year in Jazz in Bloom, Christian Sands, he's now touring with another great upright bassist, Christian McBride. Their trio is a great one to listen to. They have some great stuff. You have Tierney Sutton. There are lots of different things to get into. But I just say, just look into it. Just go out there and explore for yourself. Try the different genres. There are so many levels of jazz that one is sure to grasp you. So.
And so whenever you think of jazz, with me personally, I don't know what you, I think my purpose, I made sure I come dressed apart.
I appreciate
But where can the people find you?
Well, I'm online. I don't have a lot of recordings out. That's what I'm working on this year.
No, I meant social media.
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook, Anuschka Wright, Anuschka. I'll say that again, Anuschka. On Facebook, or it's easy to find me on any social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I think I even have a Pinterest.
Right.
So if you put the facebook.com/AAA Wright, AAA Wright, and you can do that for anything. So twitter.com/AAA Wright.
This has been Who Dat, and we're looking forward to hearing more from Anuschka in the future.